Hey guys, welcome back to the Dr. Cliff AUD YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing another reaction video for you guys. This one is titled How Over-the-Counter Hearing Aids Will Impact Americans. It was an interview on ABC News with Dr. Nicholas Reed, so let's go ahead and get right to it.
Let's bring in Dr. Nicholas Reed from the Cochlear Center for Hearing and Public Health. He's also an assistant professor at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Doctor, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I've got to say, Dr. Nicholas Reed was one of the first people that I can remember giving a talk at a AAA conference. I think I was still a student when I heard him talk. I have an immense amount of respect for him, and I'm really interested to see what he has to say about over-the-counter hearing aids.
Of course. The FDA expects this move will save about $1,400 per hearing aid and $2,800 for a pair. Help us understand how big of an impact this will truly make for those who wear hearing aids.
So I've got to say right off the bat is that it's not going to save individuals that much money off of prescription hearing aids. This is for a completely different category of hearing aids called over-the-counter. So if you happen to be one of the fortunate individuals who just has a perceived mild to moderate hearing loss, you could technically go the OTC route instead of going the prescriptive route in order to save that money.
I think this is a huge impact. I think on an individual level, this is a chance to rethink hearing care in the United States. Right now, it's a model where you're either on one side of the fence or the other. You're all in or you're all out. And now we have a different entry-level model, if you will, to get you into the OTC before you may need prescription hearing aids later on.
So I've got to say, I don't know if it's an all-in or all-out standpoint right now. Direct-to-consumer hearing aids have been around for over a decade at this point. I mean, I've been in this profession roughly a decade, little over a decade now, and over-the-counter style devices have been out there the entire time. So I'm not sure that having an official category of over-the-counter hearing aids is going to have a dramatic shift in what's happening out there in the world of hearing aids, but I do think it will have some impact.
This is a huge cost savings. The average cost of hearing aids in the United States is $4,700, and that comes with a lot of time and effort. Many visits with an audiologist. As you can imagine, for someone living near federal poverty level, that's not easy to do. It's not easy to take time off of work and go see somebody over and over again. And so these devices are designed to be self-fitting, more convenient, readily accessible, and more affordable.
Absolutely true. That's the whole intent of over-the-counter hearing aids, is to not require you going to a hearing care professional. And because you are not going to a professional that needs to take time with you, you're going to have some monetary savings there. On top of that, these OTC products that I've reviewed so far are relatively basic. There's not a whole lot of customizations that you can do, but you can do those customizations yourself. Whether or not you get them programmed correctly for your level of hearing loss is a totally different discussion, but it is a step in the right direction if you ask me.
These hearing aids will be available to those over the age of 18. Is it common, doctor, for younger age people to need hearing aids, and how would you even know if you need them?
That's a really great question. So hearing loss in the United States and in the world is related to age. Relatively rare among children and adolescents. The current incidence is somewhere between 1 in every 1,000 and 3,000 births. And most of congenital hearing loss is often what we might call either severe or profound hearing loss. Whereas age-related hearing loss usually sets in over time and sort of gradually declines. You have more of these mild and moderate hearing losses. And with age, hearing loss becomes very common. Once we get over the age of 60, half of all adults have a clinically meaningful hearing loss. Once we get over the age of 70, it's 2/3 of all adults have a clinically meaningful hearing loss.
So the question here was, like, is it common for younger individuals to have hearing loss? I mean, not as common as for older individuals to have hearing loss. And just to be clear here, over-the-counter hearing aids are for adults age 18 and older. So if you're considering, between the ages of, like, let's say 18 and 35 being younger, then yeah, there's a rate of incidence of hearing loss there. And a lot of it's due to noise exposure and things like that. So make sure that you protect your hearing if you're going to be in background noise. What he's saying is that the older generation of individuals who have an age-related hearing loss, they typically are going to be the ones who would benefit likely the most from over-the-counter hearing aids because it starts off gradual, it's slow, and then you can actually use an OTC hearing aid to treat it during the time when it's at a mild to moderate level, and then once it progresses beyond that, you would need prescription hearing aids.
So common among that group, how do you know you have hearing loss? Oftentimes it really is difficult to notice because it is so gradual and it sets in so insidiously slow. We might say things like, why are other people mumbling? And that's because hearing loss is a clarity issue, not a volume issue.
Hearing loss can be a volume issue too, but he is correct there that when it's has an insidious onset, when it's a slow onset, typically it's the high frequencies which cost you clarity, so you get the perception like, well, I can hear you talking, I just can't make out what you're saying. So that's what he's alluding to there, but you could also have a loss in the low frequencies as well and have a mild to moderate hearing loss there and still be a candidate for over-the-counter hearing aids, so I want to make sure that we're very clear there.
That's a good information there, and it's good to know for people to look out for it. Doctor, we follow you on Twitter, and we urge others to do the same. You tweeted earlier today when you addressed the use of over-the-counter hearing aids, and you wrote that the U.S. has been using a distribution model for a device that no longer exists. What do you mean by this?
Yeah, that's threw me off with my tweets. What I mean by that is, the current model of hearing care in the United States is really born out of the 1960s and 1970s, when hearing aids were these analog devices that were useless in the hands of a layperson, in the hands of the public. You really had to be an expert to use it, and they truly were dangerous. They could get extremely loud and cause damage to your hearing. But since the mid-2000s, hearing aids have really become just purely digital. We've had a digital revolution, and they can integrate with smartphones. They have processors that can, manipulate sound. You can actually use the smartphone to program the hearing aid yourself. It's a really different device, and yet the distribution model hasn't caught up with that. We're still living in an era where the professional is a gatekeeper, essentially, to the device. And perhaps, as we're seeing now, we're starting to catch up where individuals may be able to leverage the smarter technology that we have to go ahead and fit their hearing aids themselves.
So I agree with that to a degree. So technology has advanced, and it has allowed this capability for you to use your smartphone basically to program your over-the-counter hearing aids. Is it outdated? I mean, I don't know. I see patients on a daily basis who come in with these very intricate prescriptive devices that were fit elsewhere, and they're not hearing well with them, and I have to go in and manipulate a bunch of different settings on those hearing aids in order for them to actually do well with those devices. Now, back in the 70s and 80s, these devices were all virtually analog, and you had something called trim pots. So you take a little screwdriver and you would manipulate basically 3 adjustments on them. Not super complicated. He's making it seem like it's super complicated. It's not. But he's correct in the sense that they could damage someone's ears, and the likelihood of you damaging your ears with a modern digital hearing aid that you actually custom program to some degree is very low, but it doesn't mean that you can just easily pop a hearing aid inside of your ear and get massive success right off the bat. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a job right now.
The FDA estimates 30 million Americans experience hearing loss, but only 1/5 of them get help. So we're expecting a lot more to get that help now with this new FDA ruling. Dr. Nicholas Reed from the Cochlear Center for Hearing and Public Health, I appreciate the time.
So they're expecting that they're going to get substantially more people treating their hearing loss with over-the-counter hearing aids. I don't know, to be honest. I think that maybe more people will try to dip their toes in the hearing treatment waters with over-the-counter hearing aids. I don't think they're going to have the massive uptake that they really think that they are. I don't think it's going to have a massive increase in hearing aid adoption. I do think it will lead to more prescription hearing aid adoption, because I honestly think that a lot of people are going to try over-the-counter hearing aids. They're going to end up being like, yeah, I'm not really getting a whole lot of benefit, or I'm getting some benefit, that's really cool, I want to get more benefit, so they end up graduating to prescriptive level devices sooner. Now, I know that the main reason for over-the-counter hearing aids was accessibility and affordability, so I think that for certain individuals, that is definitely going to help, but it is not going to help people who have a moderately severe to profound level of hearing loss, and those are the groups of people that primarily treat their hearing loss. So we'll see. At the end of the day, time will tell whether or not more individuals with a mild to moderate hearing loss actually choose to treat their hearing loss because they have an OTC hearing aid option. But We'll just have to wait.
And Dr. Nicholas Reed from the Cochlear Center for Hearing and Public Health, I appreciate the time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Overall, really good interview. I think Dr. Nicholas Reed is a very well-spoken individual. I think he knows his stuff, and I really appreciate the effort that he has put into over-the-counter hearing aids. As you may know, I am a big fan of over-the-counter hearing aids. I actually sell over-the-counter hearing aids on my website, hearingup.com, and what I'm really hoping is that over-the-counter hearing aids are massively successful. I hope that people get a ton of benefit out of them, and then whenever the time is right, if the time is ever right, that they graduate to prescriptive level care if they want to optimize their hearing anymore. But that is it for this reaction video. If you liked it, make sure that you hit that thumbs up. It really helps out my channel, as you know. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that as well. And make sure that you hit that notification bell so you get notified every single time I publish a new video. And I'll see you next time.